Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to continue on with some special selections over this weekend before moving into next week's theme, and today's comes at us from Damian Kowalski. It says, "Hey Bryan, it's been a while since I requested something. Last time I asked you to check out the microphones." Dude, that was a song that almost pushed me to tears. So I'm going to keep the continuity and request something indie, but this time more rock oriented. My request is Built to Spill Velvet Waltz. Yup, it's a waltz, a very psychedelic one at that. Hope you'll enjoy it. All right, so yeah, a waltz. We're going to be looking for some 3/4 time with some heavy emphasis on beat one of each bar. And probably a bit of bass presence. Waltz tend to have very strong bass lines that drive the forward momentum. So let's see what we got here. This is Built to Spill Velvet Waltz. This is either a fast waltz or we're actually in 6/8 with a waltz feel, which is another way to go about doing it. Yeah, very intimate opening here. It's wild how sparse it gets without those repetitive guitar sounds underneath to create a bit of that noise in the sound floor. Hey, we've shifted to 4/4 actually. I don't know. It's weird because I hear 3/4, I hear 6/8, I hear 4/4, all in different tempos. And I'm not really sure where this sits, and that's really interesting. Yeah, the strings are in 4/4, it feels like, or they're playing dotted halves in 3/4. And then we have the 6/8 feel in the guitar underneath all of it. So lots of polymeter going on, that's all generally the same kind of idea. very bleak atmosphere, though. Feels very much like a song that's giving up over time and allowing entropy to just set in. Really allowing for a lot of imperfections in all of the voices, actually. All right. So that was a thing. Uh, Definitely an interesting song. First, I really want to get into the chaos of it all. The song is very bleak, and I believe there's always an element of dissonance or chaos in almost every section. I think there was one part in the middle where I mentioned how narrow the sound got. It lost a lot of its width, and that was because they took out the electric and distorted instruments from the floor. But other than that, there's always an electric guitar that creates dissonance and noise in one fashion or another. And of course, that culminates in the finale, which is a dueling guitar, but neither one of them seems to play anything harmonious, uh, either with what's going on behind them or even each other. It's just a very chaotic area of music where it's kind of no hold bar, anything goes. You can just play whatever you want, whatever noises you want. And it's this warring wall of sound. So that's really interesting. The chaos, though, I feel has a purpose. There's a reason it's so prevalent. I'm not sure what the lyrics are, but the emotion of the song, the atmosphere I mentioned was bleak. It feels like an uphill battle. It continues to loop in the same 4 bar phrase. Chord progression for the entire song, I don't think we really went anywhere chord wise. Is a very repetitious song. The music itself feels like um, basically not having traction, not being able to go anywhere, always looping back on yourself. No matter how far you get, you wind up back at the beginning. And the warring guitars at the end feels like flailing. It feels like struggling to move on, to continue to climb out, whatever the issue is, trying to make forward progress and just not being able to. Every time they start to go somewhere, the chord progression resets. They're back to step one, and it's not. I don't want to say an honest attempt, but it is not a calculated attempt to move forward. It is literally just trying anything, making whatever noise, trying to be heard, trying to move forward without any direction or planning, just like I said, flailing about. And I think it's really interesting that there's two of them panned to either side. It could be two people trying to move forward or two people trying to grow closer apart and not being able to. I mean, the metaphors could be extended in several directions for the idea of two flailing instruments trying to get out of the loop that they're in. I mean, that there's a lot of analogies for that, but just that hopelessness, but refusal to give up is the emotions that I'm really getting out of this. And I think it culminates into the outro, which is a fade out that basically says it'll never end. This is an infinite process, a Sisyphean task. There is no finale to this. Whatever the metaphor is, it's not going to end. So yeah, just coming from it at that point, it is it's a heavy song. At least the emotions that I felt going through this. It is not a song I'm eager to return to, just because of how it made me feel and sort of the mindset it put me in. Because it's one of those songs that doesn't really have new things happening, and I mentioned that those kind of go one of two ways. I can either spend a lot of time with each of the instruments and really hone into what's happening, or I can figure out what's happening fairly quickly and then have nothing to critically listen to. And this song fell into the latter. It didn't really have many things going on that weren't very direct. Um, like I said, we pretty much have a repetitious rhythm part. We have the acoustic guitar playing chords and the drum on the bottom, and then we had the vocals and the warring guitars at the end. The vocals are in the middle. Um, and they were all very repetitious. So there was a lot of time for me to just feel the song and sit in the atmosphere without having to, analyze what's going on with the instruments themselves. And yeah, I spent a lot of time in that emotional pocket. Don't, not something I quite enjoyed being in, but I can appreciate for the artistic value. The other thing I want to talk about though is the time signature. This threw me off because the requester, Damien, said that it was a waltz, And I was like, okay, so I'm expecting, 3/4, boom, 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 you know, something close to a very traditional stereotypical waltz. It doesn't have to specifically be that, but I'm expecting something in that corner of the universe. And we did have a lower note on beat 1, two other notes higher up on beats 2 and 3, and it repeated this going up and coming back down and going up and coming back down right from the start. However, it was fast, a lot faster than most waltzes I've heard, a lot faster than most traditional waltzes. And because of the speed, it made me listen to it in 6/8. 6/8 kind of sounds like 3/4. The only difference is instead of 3 beats to a bar, you got 6 beats to a bar. Instead of the quarter note getting the beat, the eighth note gets the beat. But basically, what I mean by that is the song waltzes are typically heard in a 3 pulse. I was hearing this in a 6 pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it still has that really heavy pulse every 3 beats. You got the 1, 4, 1, 4, which is very waltzy. So that's why 6/8 and 3/4 can kind of be mixed together. But then the interesting thing happened when more melody lines came in, the strings and the vocalists, and they began to sing on the pulses as a slow 4/4. So where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and it's wild because I could hear all of this at the same time, and I didn't know what was the strong point, what was how it was written. I've talked about this before. Time signature is not super important for a listener. Time signature is mostly there for the composer to convey their intent to the performer, the composer to the performer. So, if the composer wants to have a feel of rushing at the end of a bar and he puts it in 5/4, he says, hey, this song's in 5/4, we're going to group bars into 5 beats, and I want you to emphasize the end of it. So you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and you get that little rush there. You can also backpedal it and make it feel like it's lagging by emphasizing 1 and 3 instead, where you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get that nice rushed pocket at the beginning of a bar. But as for transposing music, it's good to have the composer's intent, but it doesn't really dictate the song. Like I said here, there are some sections in a 3 pulse, some sections in a 6 pulse, some sections in a 4 pulse. It doesn't matter if you write it in 3/4, 6/8, or 4/4, you could create all of those rhythms in any of those time signatures. And that's where polymeter comes into play. And polymeter just says, hey, we're writing in 3/4, but you're going to hear pulses in 6. You're going to hear pulses in 4. So we end up with these pockets like this. And like I said, it doesn't matter. You could write it in any of those time signatures, and all these parts could still be written perfectly as it's said here. And anybody could read them and play the parts with the same idea. But it's just interesting how much the polyrhythm influenced the way I heard it, and how I could never find what I would deem to be more of the dominant pulsing, the dominant time signature. I just think it's real phenomenal that they could walk away with that sort of ambiguity built into the song from the beginning. And a lot of it comes from the tempo. The fact that I couldn't find the key tempo means I couldn't find the time signature. I could have looked at it as a fast 3/4. I could have looked at it as a slower 6/8. I could have looked at it as a medium paced 4/4. But without knowing what the tempo is, everybody's singing at different tempos too, because of the way that these different pulses line up within the song. So it's just real awesome to kind of walk away from this and be like, yeah, I heard all the polymeters, but I don't know which one I would choose if I were going to transpose this by ear. So yeah, I enjoyed this. From a critical lens, with the time signature stuff, but also from an artistic lens, just because of the emotions that they could fit in there. I mean, there's this ambiguous dread and lack of ability to move on, lack of ability to make progress, just really baked into every part of the song, and it's impossible to avoid. It is just, it's a heavy song from start to finish. So, yeah, good pick, Damien. Did not did not try to force me to tears like microphones did. Man, that was just a tough song. But I am enjoying some of this indie rock that's getting thrown on the channel. I think they do a phenomenal job with atmosphere and really digging in to some of the more negative emotions. At least what I've checked out so far. I'm sure there's some happy and deep rock too, so this is where you guys come in. Know those are my thoughts on Velvet Waltz by Built to Spill. This is where you guys come in. Know, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed it or not. Let me know if you know the backstory to this song and if I'm spot on or not. I think I have a pretty comprehensive idea, but it also could just be my interpretation. When you're done commenting, you can head up to the description box. There's a link in there for this cool thing called Linktree. It's got all the links in there. If you want to check out a Discord, if you want to check out the community Discord, you want to help support the channel through Patreon, maybe you want to check me out on Twitter or see what special selections are coming up. Maybe you want to submit a special selection. Everything is on that Linktree link. It just brings it all together in a nice web page with icons and boxes and not all these lengthy URLs just kind of doing a wall of text thing like the description box used to be. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with yet another special selection. And sometime this weekend, depends on if I can get to it today. It's probably going to be tomorrow. We're going to be doing a song for Pride Month. I asked on a community post recently what kind of songs I should check out that have LGBTQ artists, or maybe they have songs about the community of LGBT. And I got a huge list. I'm going to try to get to as many as I feasibly can. They're all going to be bonus tracks for the month. So I'm shooting for 3 or 4. We've already had a bonus track recently. Yeah, we had a bonus track recently, so I'm trying to get at least one a week, and that'll give us 3 to finish out the month. But I'm going to try to get a couple more in and do what I can to participate a little bit, so and bring awareness to Pride Month. So pretty excited about that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's going to be tomorrow. I think that'll be a Sunday thing, because I don't have time to put that one together today. So you get 2 videos tomorrow. All right? Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.